good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. How are you, my love? How are you? I feel good. So today is Sunday. This is the third episode. We've been back for 3 weeks. I'm so excited. Waking up with Tayla Andre. Waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day that we link up. Today is Father's Day. Shout out to all the fathers. I just want to take a second to honor you, to thank you, to tell you that we love you and we appreciate you. And if you have a father that you want to reach out to, you want to say hey, you want to say thank you, you just want to say as a father, what's been difficult for you as a daddy, what's absolutely amazing as far as being a father. Like if you just want to talk about men, daddies, lack of fathers, deadbeat dads, I'll even let you sneak in child support. Whatever you want to talk about, 617-282-0062. You can also, if you wish to remain anonymous, you can star 617-282-0062. So I'm no snitch, but if you want to be extra precautious, you can do that as well. Today is the day that the Lord hath made. I am rejoicing and I'm extremely glad. And the reason why I'm glad is because I'm blessed when it comes to Father's Day, celebrating fathers. I have a daddy, I have a dad, I have uncles, and then I have a slew of cousins that are older than me, and so they are called uncle. And I can guarantee you a bunch of people got some of those as well. So my daddy, Eric Ward, is absolutely amazing. He's so dope. He's so caring. He's a Leo. And he got married later in life. He's taught me many lessons that no formal education could teach. We have always had open lines of communication ever since I was young. He's a thinker. He doesn't do a lot of talking. I get that from my mama. But he's a thinker. And he's dope. And then I have my dad, which is my mother's husband, who raised me. That's who was in the household every single day. That's who saw me grow up day to day to day to day. And then I have uncles, and I want to give a huge shout out to Uncle Terry. I want to say he's my only living uncle. As far as like uncles are concerned. Now, great uncles, that's a different story. Shout out to Uncle Georgie. He passed away this year. If you are a longtime listener, you know I love my elders. You know my elders love me. I have a special connection when it comes to the elders. And Uncle Georgie was my grandmother's brother. And he was like a grandfather to me because my own grandfather died. And losing him was the same as losing Auntie Francis. Again, if you're a longtime follower, you know these people. If not, get on board, baby. We'll take you on that journey. We'll take you on that ride. Uncle Georgie left us. And it's a really interesting story. If you give me a moment, I'll tell you. So, Uncle Georgie death has been knocking on his door for years. And anytime they would rush him to the hospital and they would, take him to the nursing home, like after they rushed him to the hospital, they would take him to the nursing home and they're like, he's not going anywhere. Like, he's going to be here. He's going to stay here. Uncle Georgie's willpower was so strong that he never stayed in the hospital long. Like, he was always in, hospice, in the nursing home. Like, they always gave up on him. But he never gave up on himself. And there was this one time that he fell and crushed a rib. And the ribs were on his lungs. And so he wasn't able to breathe out the carbon dioxide. And monoxide? Oh, Lord, science. This is where it kick in, y'all. This is what, children, this is why you stay in school. So plants give us oxygen and blow out carbon monoxide. So he wasn't able to blow out the carbon monoxide in his lungs, and so it was tainting his blood. He was under stress. He could not breathe. Like, they were physically, you could see him not being able to breathe. And I was pregnant with Prince, and I really, more than anything, wanted Uncle Georgie to attend our 4th of July barbecue. And our 4th of July barbecue is huge. It's the Bulus, the Pinas, the Gomes, like it's all of the Cape Verdeans that are never together. Like, it's always a wedding or a funeral is when we see each other. So our 4th of July was like an unplanned family reunion. And we haven't had one in 15 years. And we really, I really wanted him to be there. It would not have been the same if he wasn't there. So I was talking to him and amping him up and telling him, like, yo, I know you're trying to get these clams, you're trying to get these scallops, you're trying to, I know you want some lobster, you want some steak. And when I tell you, they gave him the diagnosis, like, they called us in. They called all of the family in because he was ready to go. And the power of words and the power of your mind and how you can literally take yourself from death into life by simply your thoughts and your words. And if you speak to any one of my relatives that was in the hospital that day, they will tell you, like, Tayla brought him back. And I did. And he brought himself back. I was just there to facilitate. And he was able to make it to the 4th of July cookout. And when I tell you, 4th of July was on 4th of July was like on a Wednesday. We celebrated on Saturday. Uncle Georgie died on Tuesday. Power of words. And so all of the daddies that are currently listening, like, what does that have to do with me? That's a lot to do with you. Whatever your circumstances, whatever, this is Massachusetts, and I can only imagine that 90% of the men that are listening may not have full custody. May have some type of joint custody, a legal custody, health, psychological custody, whatever you have. So, speak life into your situation. Speak abundance into your situation. Speak, the dopest attorney that you can find into your situation. Whatever your situation is, like, your baby won't talk to you. Whatever your situation is, speak life into it. And I always knew that thoughts become things and your words are creative, but it wasn't until I literally saw death turn to life that, for me, it was real. That's when it really hit for me. We're going to take a quick break. Again, Waking Up with Tayla Andre, 617-282-0062. It has absolutely nothing to do with the time of the day that we wake up, the time of day that you listen, but about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. When we come back, we're gonna have conversations as far as daddies are concerned. What does a dad mean to you? What is a father? Why do we have issues or so many issues going on in our communities now? And how do we alter that? You have questions, you got answers, you have solutions. 617-282-0062. So sometimes it will be music, sometimes it will be commercials in the back, but I am not going to play the music because YouTube is going to tell me that I stole it and that I'm trying to profit off of it, which we're not. So instead, we're just going to completely negate all of that and not... There we are. And not even have the music airing. What we're going to do is we're going to call my daddy and see if my daddy answers. And if he answers, we're going to put him on air. Hi, Daddy.
Hey, baby.
What you doing?
Chilling.
That's it? That's it?
That's it.
Do you have time? Can you talk to me?
I do. I got a minute or two. Or three.
Come and talk to me. I really want. Say it again?
No, go ahead. I got time.
Good. I'm glad you have time because I have some questions on your day.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
So, I guess my first question is. Hold on. Daddy, can you hear me? So, my first question is, Daddy, did you have any say in naming me? Did you name me at all? I can't hear you. There you are. I can hear you now. Did you have any say in naming me? Like none?
You hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in the Air Force when you were born. So when I got out of basic training, came back to Boston, and I went to my boy Mike's house. That's when I found out what your name was.
How old was I?
You was born in May. I came back in June, end of June.
Hold on, Daddy. You didn't know me for a whole month?
I didn't see you for about a little more than a month and a half. When I first saw you, you was a month and a half old.
That's why we don't have any baby pictures together.
No.
Why am I learning this at 36, though? Oh, Lord. What was your greatest accomplishment? As a father, because you have many accomplishments in life.
Okay, yeah, because it's hard to quantify that to just one. My greatest one as a father, oh God, I was just watching you two grow up and become women. Just watching how you and Alex have grown up to be good, good women.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I hear the horror stories of my friends and their daughters, and oh God, I'm like, I never really had that. I mean, I had some issues with y'all, but that's just childhood woes and stuff. But I ain't never had to, see you strung out on drugs or come get you out of jail or, deal with all kind of just drama. I mean, we had our issues growing up, but we got through those. And just watch how you turned your life around. That was impressive for me. I was like, man, okay.
I'm interested in what that means as far as like turn my life around. Was I that messed up in life?
You wasn't. Honestly, yeah, you was. I mean, you had to look at where you was headed. You had started with you and Marcella playing Thelma and Louise, staying with Ma, sneaking off in her car, not going to school, cutting class for a whole semester, coming back up to Boston, staying with me, bouncing around from me, went back to your mom, came back to me, back to your mom.
Yo, he's snitching for real.
You and Harvey got in a big fight. Y'all got pregnant, had the baby. And you was just from everywhere.
I was not expecting it to be that transparent.
You came to Birmingham because you was pregnant with Astaria. And I'm just like, okay, she's got to get her act together. She's got 2 kids. And it was just, I could see the stress in your face. And then it was just weird. Just one day, I don't know what day it was, but all of a sudden I was like, he was like, Dad, I got to do better. I got these 2 kids looking at me. And they looking at me like, okay, what you going to do now? I think the one day I think that really scared you was when Anari got up, got dressed, got Asaria dressed, and walked her and walked them both to school, and you was asleep. And I think he was 5, 6 at the time.
Yeah, Asaria wasn't in school. It was one day he did get dressed, and I was just like, hold on, what happened? So for me, so it's interesting to see the other side of it, like the visual from an outsider. So internally for me, it was Asaria's birth. Internally for me. So when Asaria was born, she just gave me a different perspective on life. And I don't know, like Anari, it was just I don't know if I can verbalize it, but Asaria was like me, like I was birthing myself, like I came from myself, watching myself, what are you going to do next situation? And looking through her eyes, I could see my F-ups, like I could, and kids don't lie, and Ari was 100% transparent since he could talk. So aside from what I was already feeling about myself, looking through Asaria's eyes at me, with Anari's commentary, like it really, that was what it was for me.
Yeah, that's a knockout punch in the face. That's a double dip right there.
So that's interesting. Thank you. And when I think about that, so I had a conversation today with Javis's sister, and we were just discussing life. And one of the things that she mentioned was like you have to acknowledge how far you've come. And sometimes I forget just how, like my mouth, even my mouth from like 3 years ago in the middle of the show, like I don't know. I called Mama Val one time and I was just like, it's something different. Like I can't put my finger on it, but it's just like, as you get older, you just kind of like fizzle more than just pop.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
What was the scariest thing as a dad?
In general, or with you two?
Just with us two. So any question I ask you, I'm selfish. I just want to know about me. And it don't even, I don't even care. It don't even have to pertain to Alex. How about that?
Hey, even better. It focuses my thought process. So that's even better. Okay, so my scariest moment with you was, I think it was that Thelma and Louise trip.
My daddy is snitching on
when I got
me.
There, just your cavalier attitude about what you and Marcella did, and y'all was down in the den, and I asked what he was doing, and you kind of half stuck your teeth and rolled your eyes, and I took the chair and threw it. And at that moment, I wanted to hit you. I wanted to punch you like you was a dude. I don't know if I grabbed you or not. But I know when I threw the chair and I went to grab at you because you just had such a cavalier attitude. And I had to catch myself. And I was like, Eric, you cannot hit this girl. This is your daughter. You can't do that.
Daddy, I have to tell you, I ain't never been scared in my life. Like, as an adult, I still have never been scared like I was scared. And that day is fresh in my mind like it happened yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I think most of that is I've never seen you mad. And I never seen you angry. Like, even as a kid, when I did, like, kid things, it was always a conversation. Like, always. Sometimes I wish you would just beat me.
Yeah. No. Because that's the easy way out. That doesn't teach you anything. It can, but it teaches you how to, it teaches you all the wrong messages. Yeah, beating does work to a degree, but I'm going to talk to you. If I was to beat you, I'd sit down and talk to you after. So you would have got both. So take your pick. You would have got the beating, and I'd be like, okay, come over here. Let's spend the next 2 hours talking about it. You know?
Yeah, right. 2 hours is like the minimum. I remember like 1 and 2 a.m. was a regular bedtime when we lived together.
Yeah. Yep. I get up work about 9, 10 o'clock. You still be up. We sit and talk, whatever. And so those are the moments I cherish and I love the most. Those conversations that we've always had. But that one moment was probably one of the angriest I got with you. Let me see. What's another moment? What was the question again? I think I strayed off a little bit.
I think the question was like the hardest. Like, what was the hardest part of being a dad? Oh, scariest. The scariest moment of being a dad.
Okay. The scariest moment was the angriest moment was you and my son's road trip. The scariest moment was, I don't know if I really had. I mean, probably right before that, because we didn't know where you girls were. That was just the unknown for that 24-hour period was the scariest for me. Because I like the details of that day are like etched. I remember you talking to me because I was in the movie theater, and you was with my son, and we talked, and I said, "Call me later. I'm in the movie theater," because you asked me about my trip because we had just got back from our cruise that Saturday, and then we went to the movie Sunday, and you were supposed to call me Sunday after work. I mean, after the movie, you never did. Your mother called me and was like, "Have you talked to Tayla there?" I was like, "Yeah, she called me earlier." She said, "Well, we ain't seen her in a couple hours." I said, "Well, she's with my fella." Well, then later that night, she called me. She still said she hadn't heard from me. And then that morning when she called me, that's when I started to freak out. That's probably the scariest, because that Monday, all day, Tuesday, we didn't know where you were. And that's a scary thought for a parent, is when you don't know where your child is at.
Yes.
And it's been 24 hours.
Yes. So I didn't understand that. I'd be freaking out when Asari don't walk through the door at 5:01. I'm like, hold on, but what happened? She's like, the bus doesn't run, right? I'm like, no, it does run. So I can't imagine what 24 hours looks like when I'm calling at 4:48.
Mm-hmm. And she's going to be at 5 and you call at 4:48.
I'm a stalker.
Yeah. So that was, for me, probably the scariest 36 hours until we found out that Tuesday night that you and my son drove the car all the way to Birmingham. And forever take what happened on that trip to your grave. I don't even know.
You know what? I wish it was something I could take. Like, it wasn't like that. I don't know. I wish I did more adventurous things, because I was in trouble for a long time after that. That was a punishment that lasts forever. Like, I feel like I never came off punishment. I just grew up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But now, like I said, your turnaround from that point to, like I said, when you moved to Birmingham and had Asaria, your turnaround from that point was one of, in my mind, it was a miraculous turnaround. Because you went from 2 kids working, I don't know what kind of job you were working, trying to get your hustle on, didn't have a high school degree, got your high school degree, went back to school, went to college, you got a bachelor's, or you got your bachelor's, or?
I got my associates first, and then I went to Birmingham Southern and got my bachelor's.
So there you go. So people say you can't drop out of high school and go, no. And my daughter proved that theory wrong. And you did that. And then just how you lived your life since that point when you moved back to Boston. You raised 2 beautiful kids now, and now you got a third one that's starting not to be as amazing as the other 2. And I look at where you are with the radio program and the community activism and the mortgage you're doing. So that's a turnaround that I could not have predicted 10 years ago.
I think that's an amazing. So, knowing me my whole life, except for that 1 month that you didn't know me, what did you think I would be? Like, what did you think I could be, or what career I would choose?
I couldn't even say, because even that 1 month, I can't even touch not being in your life. That was just some stuff because there was really spells between that your first days on this earth up until when I moved back to Boston, and then there was some time after that.
So if you just now tuning in, my daddy's snitching. Like he don't know he's on air, and he really snitching on me.
When I had to come and get you to take you out of the house, you know. But what could I see you doing? It's hard to say because you were smart. You had all this potential, but you just wasn't focused. And it was hard to pick. Like even when you was in high school, it was hard to say, okay, I see her doing this. I see her doing that. I couldn't put a career path on you at that age. Because even if I could, I'm still way off to what you're doing now. You probably didn't even see this in your future.
You know what? When I go back, so I journaled a lot when I was younger.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I still have every single last one of those journals. And when I go back and I read, like real estate was in my plan. So I was flipping through one of my notebooks and I actually created a building that is all encompassing of everything. Like it has a school, it has a daycare, it has a grocery store. I remember doing this when the kids were little, but I never put two and two together. So when I think about where I am now and like how things used to make me angry, like that's not fair. Like it doesn't make common sense. I guess that's where like the politics rolls in because to me, policies don't make sense and it should be common sense policies. I don't think I could have. I thought I was going to be a stockbroker because when I was at Plymouth South, we did the tech and we went around and that's how I learned how to change the tire and the windshield wipers. And you know that basket that Nana has?
Mm-hmm.
I made that basket in welding. And the thing was like, I remember being in high school and doing the whole rotation and wondering why can't I do all of them? And I think that was the most difficult thing for me, going back to what you said as far as focus is concerned, because I just wanted to do everything. Like, why couldn't I be a chef and run a business while changing tires and learning how to do electricity and CAD?
Yep. Exactly. That was you.
But I had no desire in daycare and babysitting kids with my mother's 15 kids. And I had no desire in doing hair because I had such bad experiences of my own hair.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I didn't see you. And you've never been the pretty, prissy girl. I mean, I had to peel you out of my clothes. Why are you wearing my sweatpants? Take off my sweatshirt. You stayed in my clothes. I remember one day I took you shopping. I had to make you some money on school clothes because you wasn't buying anything but sweatpants and t-shirts and champion gear. And don't you need blouses? And I'm telling you, I don't wear that. I don't want to wear that stuff. I'm okay.
Daddy, can you guess what I'm wearing right now?
Oh, God, let me see. Sweatpants, t-shirt. Well, no, because if you were doing any type of work there, you might have some type of a casual business.
Okay, I see you. Nope, I'm in sweatpants and t-shirts today.
Yeah, okay, so you did it. So my first guess was right, but I had to think for a second. So,
let's talk about finances. Let's talk about. So there's 20 years between us. What would you say to your 20-year younger self, if you could, about finances?
Oh, man. Easy. Save. Well, two things. One, invest and definitely get a 401k.
Hold on, Daddy. I want to beat you. How we had Netflix before anybody else had Netflix, but we don't have no Netflix stock.
I know, right? I know that. If Netflix went and pulled their numbers, see who signed up, I bet you my name be like number 89 on the list.
I try to use. So I forgot what it was for, but you brought up something about being grandfathered, and I will always remember like the grandfather law from back when I was like 15, 16, and you were like, because I'm grandfathered in. So when Netflix rolled out like their new prices, I called them. I was like, yo, I'm grandfathered in. They were like, nah, it doesn't work over here.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so invest. What would you invest in?
In my 20 years old, let me see, that was 36. God, I probably want to go back and tell myself when I was in my 20s. But let's say 30.
Daddy, I'm 36, so we're going to have to start here.
Okay, so investing now or would investing back then what I would have had invested in if I knew what I knew now?
Daddy, I'm trying to extract information for me. So what would you tell yourself today?
Invest. Find something. Find an up and coming IP company that's doing good things, and invest in the stock market. Get into the tech industry where all the money's at. So if I had been smart like that, I could have bought stock in Netflix. I definitely would have bought stock in Yahoo.
Hold on, don't you still have your AOL and Yahoo account?
I got an AOL. I couldn't tell you anything about it though. I still have an email for AOL. I think one day I went back and I went and dug it up and found it and called. And I had to call them to get my password reset. I couldn't remember my password. And when they reset it for me, I think I looked at it. I think I had like 50,000 emails in it. It was very ridiculous. I was like, oh my God. So I haven't used it since. It's been about 20-some years.
Wow. Since the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I know I stopped using it when I moved to Birmingham, but that was in 2004. So yeah. And maybe even before that, because AOL was trying to get folks to pay for the internet. Now people don't pay nothing on the internet; it's all free. But I definitely would have invested in all these tech companies. I would have invested in some cell phone companies that were coming up, like little bitty company called T-Mobile back in the day.
Isn't that where we got my first phone? Was T-Mobile?
Well, you was with T-Mobile. I've always been with. I was with Bell. Not Bell. I was. What's the phone company up there in Boston? Bell what?
Daddy, we don't have Bell nothing no more. Remember Baby Bells, the turn into Mama Bell? Remember they ate each other up?
Yeah. What was it called back then, though?
I don't know, because Birmingham was Bell South. Bell. I can see the payphone in my head, though.
Yeah, it was something, whatever it was, but that's what I started with. Then I went to AT&T. And I was at AT&T for a long time. Even when I moved to Birmingham, I went to AT&T. And the only reason I switched was because you had got a phone with T-Mobile, and you had let me use your little razor-looking phone, and you signed me up on your account for a phone. I didn't have a phone for a while.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
And that's how I got to T-Mobile, because you signed me up. You said, Dad, I get you a phone. I got to hook up with T-Mobile. I'm like, what? You said, yeah. So you came by the house, and you gave me one of your old phones, little thin razor phone, and then you signed me up, and then we just kind of split the bill. And then when you moved to Boston, I think you end up separating the bill so you can have your bill and I can have mine. But I've been with T-Mobile ever since then.
Hallelujah. Hey, I should get paid for that.
Yeah, There you go, you paid.
Daddy, I have a random question. So you know my demeanor, you know my personality, and you know, like, I'm a lover, not a fighter. Daddy, why am I a punk? Like, why everybody else is a fighter? Why I'm not a fighter?
You probably get that from your daddy, because your daddy's not a fighter either.
My mama is, though. She been punched a few teeth out.
Mm-hmm. Well, being a fighter, it ain't what it's cracked up to be. You get in more trouble than you care to, because that's your first reaction. People who tend to fight first, think later, always have issues and drama in their life. They find themselves in bigger holes and bigger messes than they care for.
That's the truth. I ain't got no drama in my life. And why aren't you a fighter, Daddy?
I only choose to fight when push comes to shove, and I have to, and I try not to even then, because what happens is when you are fighting, you are not in control. You are your animalistic instincts are kicking in, and things can get taken too far, where once it's over, it's hard to come back from. There's so many black men and women, or just people in general, not just saying black, that had they took an extra second, slow down, and thought about what they were about to do, they wouldn't have pulled the trigger. They wouldn't have stabbed that person, because when you look at it from the end results, it wasn't really worth it. When I watch the news, I hear this person shot this person. I'm like, and now they go for the rest of their life in jail or on the run if they don't get caught, and that person's dead, and maybe that person who died may have instigated, who knows? But now that person's lost their life, the one and only opportunity of living they're ever gonna get. And so I don't envy people who I'm a fighter first. You do this, I'm a snap. All right, go ahead and snap. I'll read about you getting killed because you ran across somebody who was bigger, badder, stronger, faster, and all that. Or even if you was the biggest and the baddest, you end up paying in the long run. Okay, now you're in jail. Now you're doing life. Now your freedom is took. All because as you had a split second to think about it, you're like, you know what? Let's talk this out. Let's hash this out. We ain't got to go to blows. And there are too many people that wish they had that second back in life.
So talking about seconds back in life. When I was younger, so we've processed a lot together, like throughout the years, different thoughts and feelings and suppressed things that came up in adulthood. And I don't feel like we've discussed this question, but when I was younger, I always had like this anger, this animosity. Like, why didn't you come get me? Why didn't you save me? Like, that's what in my kid brain, it was why won't someone come save me? And so if you could take a step back, would you, this is Massachusetts. Moms get all the rights. She has to be, a crackhead, a violent crackhead that's, created an atrocious crime before the state of Massachusetts will remove the children. And with that being said, knowing what you know now, would you go back and, battle the court and try and get me?
Yes and no. Because to change that one aspect I hear what you're saying. To change that one aspect would definitely be to change your total outcome in life. So I get that. Yeah, I would. But there was some things going on between me and your mom. There was a fear of me not wanting to fully embrace fatherhood and be that full-time dad, which is one of the reasons why I didn't come and get you at those early ages. When the court took you from your mother, when Tommy had broke your arm, the only reason that they would even consider giving you to me would be if I had been married. So the girl I was dating, we actually got engaged and for that. So that, when the court...
Carol? You got engaged with Carol?
Yep.
For me?
Yep.
Daddy, I want to cry.
I was in love with her at the time too, but yeah. And because the courts were like, okay, well, you can't go back. I can't have her going back there if Gail's going to let this man do that to her. So we had initially got engaged, and then I said, well, then if we get married, then I can go and appeal to the court and try to get custody of you. But our engagement lasts but a hot minute. so, but the court even still properly gave you to me because they wouldn't give her to mom. And at the end of the day, they put you back with your mother.
Hold on. So you said something that I think is dynamic. You said you didn't want to fully embrace fatherhood. Can we please unpack that?
Okay, so pick up 7 or 8 years old. I'm visiting you like maybe 2 or 3 times a year. And I'm still living in New York. I come home and I would see you. So you knew enough of me to know that, okay, this man, his title is Dad. That's all you knew. I know this man is my Uncle Terry, and I see him a lot. I like being around him. And I know this woman is my grandma. And I know these 2 women are my aunties. I see a lot of them. But this daddy guy, I don't see enough of him. But he's daddy. And I kind of know what that means, but I don't know what that means. That's what you're processing at 4, 5, 6, and 7. And of course, during this whole time, Tommy's around and everything. And then your mom married Tommy. And we believe that was more so that, because I think one of the things the court had said was he couldn't be around you. You know, well, they said, quote, something like, your boyfriend can't be around your daughter. So he went ahead and made Tommy her husband. So, but
I'm going to call my mom and see if that's the real reason. Because this is like, I have to tell you, this is information I had no clue about.
And again, I'm hearing it hearsay, so it's not 100%. I know the court gave you back to your mother. And of course, I think they put some restrictions on Tommy being around as a boyfriend. But, you know, at some point after that, Tommy and your mom ended up getting married. I don't know if it was a few weeks, a month, or I don't know. I can't remember the time frame. It was just so long ago. But I do remember that they ended up getting married. So, because the whole reasoning behind what happened to your arm was still kind of sketchy. You know, him disciplining you, grabbing you.
Can we fast forward?
Breaking your arm. And he don't know how lucky he is to be alive today.
Daddy, I love you.
They called me at work and took me off post because my call. And I was at work.
This is why you can't do lives and not tell people they're
when you're guarding these little weapons and you got carrying an M16 with, you know, a couple hundred rounds, whatever you get when the Red Cross calls you with any bad news or death in the family or anything like that, they take you off post, take your weapon. They don't tell you what you're doing. They say, like, come here. It's like being called out of class in school. Alex, come here. Let me get you out of class. They're going to get you out of class, down in the principal's office, take everything from you, pen, paper, you know, and then tell you the good or the bad news. So when they told me that, they took my weapon. So I called my brother. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm trying to get D and Bobby and Jake.
Hold on. But, Daddy, I have a question now. Can we please unpack why you didn't want to be a daddy? Why you didn't want to fully embrace me, Father?
Because of, again, I'm young. I'm a young man. I'm 22, 23. And it was something I truly wasn't ready for. Me and your mom didn't have a real relationship. You know, we had a quick little one-nighter. And then just the fear of being a parent. It was just, okay, how do I handle this? You know, I never really argued with your mom about, like, child support. I never fought her on it. She never pushed me. I never pushed for her to get it. But you never went without, though. You know, if she ever called and said, Tayla needs this done. Tayla needs that done. You know, Tayla needs braces done. Tayla, I'm sending her the money for your braces. She's not paying it. Okay, I got a workaround for that. But to unpack the last part of that, it really felt that way when I came home and I was going to take you back home to your mother. We had spent the weekend together. The whole time taking you back, you're crying upset because you didn't want to go with me. You want to stay with Terry. I want to stay with Terry. I'm like, wow, this girl don't even really want to be with me. But I can understand that because you didn't know me.
Hold on, but did you understand then? Because you understand now, like in hindsight, but did you understand then, like to be 22 and to be 23, Did that like strike a chord emotionally?
Yeah, because there was no guidelines for being a parent. There was no book. It was like my mom had dropped so much on me when she found out that Gail was pregnant. Because that whole time, that's when I found out that Prince Ward wasn't my dad. I didn't find out through a conversation when we sat down and had let me tell you the truth of your origin. No, that conversation started when Shauna got in trouble because she stayed out all night.
Daddy is snitching.
She signed me out to Ma. Talking about you don't get bad, you don't say nothing to Eric. He running around here, got this girl pregnant with a baby. You don't even.
Oh, Auntie Shauna was the one snitching.
Oh, my snitching. Like, come on. I come home from school, work, or whatever I was doing, and Ma tells me this, and talking about, you got that girl pregnant, well, you're going to be a better father than her, and Prince is your father, because Prince wasn't your father, and she went on, I was like, hold up, what, whoa, back up, stop. Say, what? What you mean Prince ain't my father? So then when she said that, then she wanted to calm down, okay, let's have a conversation. See what had happened. But I was living in New York. I read on the clip talking dude who was from New York, and he got the booty and left me pregnant with you. And then didn't want to be part of your life. And then Daddy said, if you come back to Alabama, I'll marry you. So that's how he became your dad. And he decided not to tell you. And I'm 20 years old when I hear this, with a baby on the way. So the one thing Mom did say that stuck in my head was, you're going to be a better father. I need to be a better father to your daughter than your father was to you. So I kind of mimicked what Granddaddy did. He was there, but he wasn't there. He was doing just enough to be a presence in my life, but not enough to make me feel like he was my father. Now, he never neglected me and did me wrong or bad, but I wasn't showing the same kind of love that I felt that he gave to Terry, Sean, and Shelly.
Really? I thought I asked you that before, and so you always did feel different.
It wasn't so much I felt different. It kind of, I didn't notice it right then until Ma told me that, and I started to process it, that it made things clearer. Okay, now I get why we and him did this or didn't do this, or why this happened or why that didn't happen. Now I kind of get how that may have transpired, because it makes sense now. I'm not his biological son. I'm another man's son that he is raising. You know?
But you know what's crazy to me, though? I feel like, so today with, Val has 2 kids, and 2, right?
Yes.
And I feel like Tanisha get the same treatment we get. Like, I don't feel like there's no different at all.
What do you mean?
Like, that's your daughter. And as far as, like, step treatment, let me rephrase the question. Is the reason why you treat Mama Val's children like yours because of trauma that you've had in your own past of being like half loved?
Wow. Insightful. I love you for that. I never looked at it that way, but it makes perfect sense because of how Daddy was there, but not 100%. And when I say 100%, he was closer than most, 98, 97. Because we still did things father and son. I mean, I can't, I'm not going to say he wasn't a father figure. He was. We went to the park. We played basketball together. We played baseball. We played football. He took me driving, taught me how to drive. So we did all that in the country. When he went out and he played basketball or baseball, he took me and Terry to his games. So we had that moment, but it was just, at that time, I couldn't feel it. But when I realized he wasn't, I could kind of put, okay.
2 and 2 together.
Now I see why this was just a little bit off. Just not 100%, but just, it's like when you drive a car and it's not steering right. It's steering straight, but you still got to tug it a little here, a little there. So it wasn't a bad thing. it just made one or two or three things over the time that he was living with us that I get it. I can see why we weren't like better 100%. With Terry, I can see 100%. With me, I see about 95. And I say 95, 96, 97 because even after I found out, and I don't know how or when he knew that I knew. That's one conversation I wish we had had. If anything in life I regret me and Daddy not having that conversation. Just to get his perspective, what he was dealing with, kind of like how you asking me these questions now. But sometimes you don't even have, I don't have to have that conversation because the proof is in his works. If that makes sense. Tayla.
That was a lot, Daddy. That was a lot. And I wish I could create a scenario for you to have that conversation. Unfortunately,
here's the thing. I don't need it. And I'm going to tell you why. The same way I don't need it with Allison. Actions speak louder than the words. When Ma told me she had found Allison, you know what the most important question in my mind was about him that I wanted to know?
Was it the same question I had?
Which one?
I just want to know what was going on as far as health is concerned, because I was more concerned with all of the problems that the wards have and whether or not that was going to transfer to me and my children. And when she said she found Allison, my only concern and the only thing I still care about today, and he still hasn't answered this one question, is what should I be concerned about regarding health?
Mm-hmm. That wasn't even my question. Nope. You want to ready?
I'm ready.
My question was to him, the biggest question I wanted to know him was, tell me about my brothers and sisters that you have. That's it. Tell me about, I want to know about my older sister and brother or younger sister and brothers, which I do, So that's what I wanted to know more than anything else. I could care less about anything else he could tell me. Introduce me to my older brother and sister and my younger brother and sister. I want to get to know them.
Chucking up the deuces.
Because there is nothing he could say to me that, even without physically being there, I knew, I know the outcome would happen between him and Mom. I know the story. He met my mom. My mom was a maid in New York, living with some white folks, doing what black women did back then, maid and cooking. And he was a city slicker, smooth talker,
I guess some things ain't changed, huh?
Hey, Mom was a little country girl, so they did the do. He got her pregnant. He already had 2 other kids before me, okay? And then he wasn't ready for a third. Told Mom in so many words, I'm out. In so many words. And then Daddy told Mom in so many words, if you come back to Birmingham, or when she got back to Birmingham, he proposed to her and married her. Gave me his last name.
And that speaks volume in itself.
And that right there is why I don't necessarily need to have a conversation with Daddy. Because the actions speak louder than the words. You can tell me, this man took, you got me today that won't do this. Today. It's hard for a man to come in now. Men like Rich, that's why I admire Rich. I like Rich. Anytime a man like that can come in and step in, you got 2 teenagers, man. And he down to ride with you. You, my daughter? The drama you bring? Okay. But the majority is hard for men to step in like that. In the 60s to do that? Prince William Ward Jr., Cool Breeze? What?
How do?
Smooth? True. Daddy was so smooth, man. He wasn't perfect. I will not chew this one. He was perfect. He was demons. He did his fair share of dirt. Which is why him and Mom, didn't have a lifestyle that they could have had. But up till that point, he looked after us. You know, when I went to the Air Force, he kind of chastised me about doing that. He wanted me to call and talk to him first, but I was, as you kids say, I was in my feelings, and I was mad at Mom because she kind of yelled at me and told me I need to get up, get out of her house, and do something in my life. I wasn't going to sit around all day. So I'm not going to college. But even when I went to the Air Force, we stayed in touch. He called me periodically. It'd be 10, 11 o'clock at night. He worked the night shift, but that was cool. Called me like, "What's up, man? How you doing?" I said, "Dad, I'm doing good."
I miss his voice. Do we have anything with his voice on it?
Oh God, I know I got some tapes of Mom's house. Not many. He wasn't one to talk a lot on tape and camera or take pictures. We don't have that many pictures.
My daddy don't know he on tape and camera.
I can hear his voice though. And before Uncle, if you really want to hear his voice, I wish before Uncle Lawrence died, because they sound just alike. Oh my God! And even Uncle Raymond sounds a little bit like him, a little bit when you listen to Uncle Raymond. But him and Lawrence sound just alike before Lawrence passed. I hate that he died the way he did. Man. That was my dude right there.
He was a good guy. I remember he was fun. Daddy, Father's Day. I love you so much. I appreciate you. You've taught me so much about life and your lived experience.
But let me go back and finish the unpacking this about me not wanting to be a father.
Okay, thank you.
So part of that was fear of failure, fear of the responsibility, because it took a lot. It takes a lot of responsibility to raise a child. And 8, 9, 10, 11, all that time when you were not happy with your mom, and that was just more you just pit me and your mom against each other. For me to take you meant a tremendous sacrifice in my life. I would have to revamp my whole life because I know what it takes to raise a child. Well, I thought I had an idea. So I was more afraid of you come and stay with me and how that would change my life. I was probably being more selfish than anything. And not sure I was ready to take on that responsibility 100%. But it was like, it got to a point, I think you were 12 or 13. When did you come stay with me? You were 13? 12 or 13, right?
Yeah.
So whatever the age was, it got to a point where I could see it in your face that you had enough, and I think you needed a break. And me and Terry were talking that night, and he said, "Bruh, do what you got to do. Go get your daughter. You need to do it." And I don't know if he said it'll get easier, I'll help you, or some kind of way, but this way he said it, and I could hear the passion in his voice, and it sounded like I was hearing it from Daddy as well. It's like I heard, because he sounded like Daddy a little when he talked too, and his voice had that heavy tone in it. And then it was funny, I wasn't nowhere near as spiritual as I am now, but I felt the calm come over me, and I was like, "Eric, go get her. It'll work out." I had this feeling like it's going to work out. And I did. And when that spirit hit me, it changed my philosophy and thinking. It came from I know I can't do this, so you know what? Yes, I can do this. And it took that fear away from me. Whatever that was, the Holy Spirit, Mom's prayer, Grandma's prayers, or somebody praying over me, God put that spirit in me, and him confident in me and strengthening my spirit that, okay, you can do this. And I didn't even know that until just this conversation we were talking about it, as it, like you said, unpacking it. And it had to be the Holy Spirit encouraging me. Because since that day, when I went and got you, I've never looked back. Never have I ever had a second thought about what I did that day was wrong. Matter of fact, I wish I would have did it sooner. Because from the minute I got you, we never had that. It was never a bad decision. Yeah, you made me mad. Yeah, I wanted to choke you. Yeah, that day I came outside and you sit in some dude's car in the parking lot. And I had to come snatch you out of the car. Yeah, you put me through my paces. You and T are sitting in the house smoking weed, and you tell me some girls over your house smoking weed. I actually called the girl's mother while you were standing there, and the lady told me that, sir, my daughter is not here. She's been with her dad this whole weekend. I'm like, Taylor, why'd you lie and tell me this girl was smoking weed in the house? I didn't think you were calling. At one point, when I'm dialing the number and her mom's on the phone, did you not think I'm going through with this?
I thought you were bluffing.
Oh, man.
Oh, Daddy. I was smoking weed for a long time. I'm sorry.
Oh, baby, there are things I know that when I asked you, I knew you were going to lie, and I didn't push it. Because
Jerome, he doesn't know he's being recorded. He's going to beat me.
Be kept in the dark about. So when you ask your kids about sex and they're living in an environment where a lot of kids at age are having it, you pray they're not having it, but you know in the back of your mind they may. You know.
Daddy, we are not going to speak this into my life right now because all of Anari's friends are sexually active, smoke weed, drink, skip school, and I want to choke all his friends.
Talk to him. Prepare him.
Do you know I will never forget the house that I still think about the house that we drive past. I think it's on Harvard Street where you said you climbed out the window because the girl's parents came home.
Yeah, yeah, it's on Morton Street. I show you. Yep. we were up on the roof. Not a parent came. Her sister or somebody came home, and we had because they stayed on the third floor. We had to get up on the slanted roof. And yeah. Crazy.
Daddy, can I tell you two things?
Sure.
The first thing I want to tell you is that Uncle Jerome said hi.
Okay. So I said hey back.
And the reason why he knows that we're talking is because we might be recording.
I'm gonna beat you.
Happy Father's Day! I did not think you snitched a lot on me. Like I am transparent more than I've been transparent. So people know me more than they've ever known me before. But I'm okay with that. And I cried today. I learned a lot today. And I still have more questions.
Conversation live just now on your show?
Yes. Daddy, what number called you?
I don't know. It just popped up 617. And I saw Boston. I figured it was you calling.
Yeah, it was me. 617-282-0062. If you're listening and you want to say hi to my daddy. You guys remember I tried to give my daddy away on air?
Let's not go on that road.
He is happily married now. I don't need a stepmother, and unfortunately, we don't wear the same shoe size. But I love her more than I would if we did.
Okay.
One of the things that I said before I called you was how you are a thinker, and you've always been a thinker, and you are the reason why I think as much as I do. And I honor and respect. And I love the way you just don't answer questions. You actually take time to think about not just the answer, but the ramifications of the answer. And I would like, what would you say to, 36 years ago, Eric, 20 years old, just found out that he's having a baby? Like, for the men that are in the circumstance that you were in, like not being in a relationship with a woman and just having a one night stand, and she ends up getting pregnant, and like all of that, like don't have sex with somebody if you don't want to if you don't want to have a baby. Like, what would you say to these young men that are out here, non-fathers, fathers, men that are about to be fathers, men that are avoiding their fatherly duties? Like, what would you say to them?
Well, Okay, so the biggest thing is the act of having sexual intercourse is to produce a baby. So when you're out there doing that at a young age, you got to be aware that at the end of the day, that could happen. So when it does happen for the man, again, you know, man, I got to think beforehand. You got to think caution. Okay, dude, if I get this girl pregnant, if I sleep with her, have sex, and she gets pregnant, is this the kind of woman I want to spend the next 20 years of my life with? Not as wife or girlfriend, but as my mother's, I mean, as the mother of my child. Do I want to spend the next 20, 25 plus years, and in some cases longer than that, because although you're 36 and me and your mama ain't had a conversation in 15 years, she's still a part of the equation, you know? So you got to look at that is it worth it? Now, for those of us that have already done it, like what happened to me and your mom, she got pregnant, I would tell anybody now, do the best you can for your child. You have to learn these 2 words. Ready? Write it down, get a pencil, and hold on for a second. Learn these 2 words, because you're going to need to know that these 2 words are self-sacrifice. Your child has got to come first. Everything else in life, you forego your life for theirs. The minute you get pregnant, the minute you have a baby, for the woman you get pregnant, for the man you have a baby, you birth a child, your life becomes second. They come first. All the partying you thought you was going to do, all the cool things that goes to the curb. That goes second. Put that on the back burner, 5, 10, 15 years down the road, you can pick that back up. And then the biggest one is just don't be afraid. Like I said earlier, that fear of being a parent and taking on that responsibility 100% or full time goes away when you realize that you don't have a choice anymore, and just embrace it.
So you didn't fight for me in court, but there are a lot of men that are back and forth in court, and I never remember you and my mom fighting. So I remember, she wouldn't let me do something. You might let me do it, a rock and a hard place, put them together and let them go at it. But I never remember my mom telling you, I don't remember you guys butting heads and causing drama. That's something that I did not see as a child. But there are men that are dealing with, violent, angry, psychotic women that are dealing with, the courts and not the courts. So just dealing with a woman in general, even though you may not have that firsthand experience, do you have any wisdom for men going through those circumstances?
Okay, so one thing you said, I don't know if you heard me, I was trying to cut you off, is that you said you did not see. You did not witness it. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. You just didn't witness it. It happened. It was maybe out of eyesight and earshot of you, but it happened. There wasn't but maybe 1 or 2 occasions when me and your mom bumped heads over you. And at one point she had brought Tommy in. I had brought a friend of mine, female, to come spend the weekend, come get you for the weekend. And your mom got an attitude and wouldn't let me take you for the weekend. And they had Tommy come tell me. And at the time, and again, this is me being, as you say, transparent, I backed down to Tommy. I advocated my right as your father to his right as your stepfather, and your mom right as your mother. I said, okay, fine. If that's how I want to play it that way. And so that was one of the altercations that we had back and forth where, I wanted to come get you for the weekend and she wouldn't let me take you. And there's maybe one other one. But there was only 2. That third time, that's when I came and got you. And there was a semi, I ain't gonna say threat, that's a bad word because we might be lying, but I made my feelings very strongly known to your mother that if anybody tried to stop me from coming to get you, there's going to be some slow singing and flower drinking.
Trouble.
Okay.
You know what? There was a point where when you were talking about Uncle Terry, and I knew Uncle Terry was like a pivotal point in my life, but I did not understand the role that he played. Because how old was he when I was born? He was a little thing.
He's 6 years younger than me. So
he's 14.
I was, if I had you at 20, he was 14, 15.
Mm-hmm.
So all the time he was spending with you, he was 18, 19 years old. Maybe, yeah, because but when you was 7 or 8, when you had that one conversation, and the one that really hurt my heart was when you, like I said, you wanted to spend more time with my brother than me. And you was 7 or 8 years old.
I don't remember that.
Oh, I remember.
I don't remember that.
Yep. That picture when you were sitting on the steps in the house with the glasses on?
Yeah.
But
yeah, I remember that.
That day.
Wow. Okay. Like you guys, we are live. Like this is me unpacking my life, I guess. It's supposed to be like Father's Day special, so you guys could. My daddy's an amazing daddy, despite him being scared in the beginning. Today, and I want to say since the day of picking me up, and whether we went to Lawrence or whether we were at 14 Fenelon Street, like I feel like I remember all of the word games and all the word puzzles and all of the.
Yeah. What's the word I taught you that? Itinerary. Remember that day?
Yes. Wait, because didn't you have like a pocket, one of the first touchpads or something?
The what now?
What are those things called? They were Palm Pilot. It was like you had like the first Palm Pilot I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a Palm Pilot. Yep. Yep. Even when I got you your first pager, somebody wouldn't let you use the phone to call me because they thought it was gonna run their bill up.
Daddy, what color was my pager?
It was blue
There's
or purple.
two.
I can't remember.
It was blue. The first one was purple. The second one was see-through blue.
Yep. I know the first one. I think the first one was purple because I knew that was your favorite color when I got it.
Yes. Yo, these kids don't even know about that lifestyle though. And you are 143. I can't tell you how many times to this day Lamar, Zabita, and Tia will still crack on me like 143 because that's what you would text me whenever we were together.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, my daddy.
And now we send emojis.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Daddy, is there anything else as a man that you want to say to all of the fathers?
Not to be cliches, but if you're man enough to lay with a woman, be man enough to help raise that child. And the biggest one is when you find yourself in a position to be a father, be a father. It ain't always about putting money in her pocket, but just be there for that child. That child is not going to know. Tayla can't tell you in any dollar figures how much money that's going to her, but she can definitely tell you with the time that we did have quality time together. Mm-hmm. And she didn't realize just how broke we was living in that apartment above that hardware store. She don't know, you know. All she knows is that she was with her daddy and that every morning he got her up, got her dressed for school, took her to school, drove her to school, was there when she came home, fed her, spent time with her, and did all those things. Those are the memories that she's going to cherish. She don't know. So just that fear of the unknown is what keeps us from being great. Just do it, as Nike says.
Daddy, I don't know how broke we were because I always ate good. We always had some amazing chicken parmesan and eggs and cheese for breakfast.
Hey, there was no steak, there was no lobster, there was no caviar. You know, we ate simple, but we ate good, and we were never without food. So, and we had all the, as they say, the bare necessities.
I love you so much, Daddy. Thank you.
I love you too, baby girl.
Happy Father's Day. And guess what? I'm going to send this to you so you can watch us.
Okay. So you're kind of doing everything. Oh, wow. Yeah, send it to me.
You can actually go. It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube right now. We're live on air. We have online listeners. We have online viewers and live listeners.
Oh, man. Too bad you couldn't have got me on live. I'd have been more than willing to do it.
You know what? You remember the last one we did when I came to Atlanta and we did a live in the car?
Yeah.
Daddy, you're one of my highest ranking shows. Everybody loves you.
I know. I'm good like that.
I just want to let you know you come second to Nana, though, because Nana, I used to call Nana all the time. When in the AM when we were 5 to 7, I would call her at 6, which was 5 her time, and she would talk and talk. I have to actually go back on YouTube and see if I can find all of the videos of Nana talking, and she's gonna be the reason. I'm coming out with a book called Nana Said, and it's based on like how her cliche quotes have played a huge role in how I live my life today.
Oh, yeah. I know some of those. Yep.
So I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. Daddy said if you are man enough to lay with her, be man enough to take care of that child. It's Father's Day. This is my daddy. If you have any questions for my father, 617-282-0. Never mind. Y'all need it.
Yep. Hey. And you know my favorite 2 words of you is daddy approved. This is a DA moment.
Oh, thank you, Daddy. I hope you have an amazing day. Please give hugs and kisses to Mama Val for me.
I will. I'll go see her right now. They're in the living room. She's here with her mother today too. So.
Well, happy Mother's Day, Mom. Because I didn't talk to her, so tell her I said happy Mother's Day, even though today's Father's Day.
All right, I'll pass that along to them. They're in the living room.
Okay, Daddy.
All right, babe. Love you. Kiss me.
I will.
All right. Bye.
Bye. You guys, that was my daddy. And my daddy did a whole lot of snitching. My daddy snitched on everybody. But I am perfectly okay with the transparency. As you guys know, I try to be as transparent as possible. And the truth of the matter is I'm human and I have insane stories of my family just like you. Like, no one's exempt. If you live life long enough, you're going to have stories. You're going to have regrets and you're going to have them tales. So shout out to Marcella. Everybody dubbed us Thelma and Louise for that little thing that we did when we were young. And my whole family wants to talk about it like it happened last week. That's one of those stories that will never go away. I'll be 80 years old still talking about Thelma and Louise. We're going to take a quick break. We had an amazing conversation with my daddy, and I'm glad you got to hear the man that I look up to, the man that I honor, the man that helped me become the woman that I am today. And he is my heart. He is my soul. He is my daddy. And honestly, if you guys do have any questions for my father, he's on Facebook and he is vocal. So you can just literally talk to him. His name is Eric Ward, ERIC Ward, WARD. I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. We are going to take this quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more, some news you should know, as well as some financial literacy.
How would you?
It'll only be like 3 minutes if you guys want to wait for 3 minutes, or if you're watching, you can fast forward. Hi, Uncle Jerome. Thank you, Uncle Jerome, for just snitching on me. They didn't even know. They didn't know what it was. Everybody know that Dogecoin story. I hate it. Me and Marcella. Thelma and Louise. We have 2.5 more minutes. This time flew by. And I really got emotional because there was so much that I didn't even know at all about, like, Uncle Terry. So Uncle Terry is like I guess he would be like a godfather. Like Uncle Terry is not just my uncle. Uncle Terry is everything. He's like my second dad. And I didn't understand the role that he played in my life to this capacity. That's a blessing. That's such a blessing. Are you guys? Someone said it's not coming up live on air. It should be, though. $50 more seconds and we're up. Shout out to C-Plan, the Collaborative Parent Leadership Action Network. Father or mothers that are in the city of Boston that want to learn more, you can go to our website, cplan.org, or you can just call me and I'll talk to you about it. Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am Tayla Andre. Waking up with Tayla Andre has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day that we link up, but about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. So before the break, we were live on air with my daddy. I called him. He didn't know that I was calling him from the station. And we talked about his experiences as a father. And it was beautiful to hear him admit that there was a point in time that he wasn't ready to be a dad, that he wasn't, quote unquote, prepared to take on that responsibility. And it's a beautiful thing to hear him admit that. And we were able to unpack that. So are there any men listening now or listening later, watching later, that want to maybe get some perspective? I would definitely say to rewind, or you guys that are listening live, 61, oh, Lord have mercy, TaylaAndre. That's everything social media. We are streaming live on YouTube now, so you can watch on YouTube. You can watch on Facebook. Again, TaylaAndre. I am so blessed. Recently, I was tapped by JP Morgan Chase to have a conversation, be a part of a conversation that they were having with Ebony Magazine, Essence Magazine. And the conversation is about your financial journal and currency conversations. So I was a speaker on a panel for currency conversations to discuss money. And so if you were watching or listening to the whole show, one of the questions that I asked my father was, what would you tell yourself 20 years ago regarding money? And he said, invest and save and set up like a 401k or some type of retirement plan. And that was part of the currency conversation that we had at JP Morgan Chase and Essence. And it was more so tailored around, us as Black people and Black women specifically, and how we need to take control of currency conversations and, get our sister friends and our girlfriends. And it doesn't have to just be females, but getting more people involved when it comes to financial conversations. We are the type of people that, my business is my business. What happens in my house stays in my house. We, the cliches that we hear our parents, money doesn't grow on trees, and go out and get an education, get a good job, and get benefits. And these are the things that we grew up believing to be true, things that we grew up embedded in us. But we never had those sit down conversations about your checkbook, about your finances, about your taxes, about tax loopholes, about, 401ks and savings bonds. And, even though of the past, they're not really lucrative today, but even of the past, stocks and any and every form of finances, those aren't the conversations that are being had regularly in our household. And so, as women being the number one fastestly growing educated demographic, while we're getting all this education, we need to also get the education of our finances. So, this is your financial journal. Putting together the pieces. Black women have made a significant stride, yet face more hurdles to financial success than any other group in the United States. Hashtag Together We. So if you're interested, if this conversation moves you, hashtag Together We can change that dynamic through education, reassurance, and support. Currency Conversations is about sparking dialogue. It's about breaking down misconceptions over past missteps or setbacks, being intentional about your future. And so if we can have an honest conversation, I want to say at I'm 26. At 36 years old, the reason why I'm not drowning in credit card debt is because when I did live, like my daddy said, I moved to Birmingham, Alabama, and had all of my mail sent to my grandmother's house. So regardless of where I lived, mail went to Nana's house. And Nana would throw away every credit card that came in. And I never had a credit card until I was like 29 years old. So I never had to experience the credit card debt that a lot of us go through because my grandmother said, listen, you don't need it. You don't need it. The first credit card that I got was a Capital One. I had $150 credit limit on it because I didn't have any credit. I didn't have any credit cards. And so I had $150 credit limit, and I used it minimally. And then from there, I remember I got a Finger Hut because Nana kept getting these big old books, and the Christmas Finger Hut book came out. And I was like, ooh, I want this. And there's like $2.99 a month. $1.99 a month. I was like, what? Okay. Not even thinking of like how much I think it was like 28% interest charge on $3. I could have just bought it. But that's how I built my credit. How many people are in debt now today because of credit cards? You were in college, you turned 18, and all of a sudden everybody wanted to give you a credit card, and you were like, hey, bling bling, swipers no swiping, and now your credit is horrid. Or maybe those 7 years have passed and you're now rebuilding. You're not the only one. It's about being honest, not only with yourself, but an accountability partner. A lot of people don't work out without an accountability partner. And so why not use the same format in your finances? Why are we so private about our finances? Did you know our counterparts or those that are Caucasian talk about their finances all the time? I make such and such a year. Well, Tayla, they made $375,000. I'd tell people that too if I made that much money. Not necessarily, because people that are making $65,000 still have those conversations. I make 65. Susan makes 38,000. We opened a new stock at such and such bank. Did you know they share information when it comes to their finances while we are over here having conversations with nobody, not even ourselves, about money? So gather your girlfriends and get ready to set goals that reinforce your why. What is your why? Why do you want to save money? Or why do you want to make more money? Or why? And it could be anything. Like, no one can determine what your why is. Maybe your why is you want to buy a house. Maybe your why is you want to send your children to college. Maybe your why is you just want to take a vacation because you're stressed out and your job makes you miserable. Regardless of what your why is, having a currency conversation. And why is it important to start having these conversations, not just with your friends, but also with your children? I do not want my children to make the same mistake I did. Anari's already on a couple of my credit cards, so when it's time for him to venture on his own in 2 years, he will already have established credit, and I refuse to give him bad credit. So we are actively working on mine. So I'm not going to sit on a high house and say, listen, you peasants, get your credit together. We are eye level. We are in the congregation, one together, and I'm going to just be transparent. So I got a Dell computer, right? And Dell sent me a computer. I got a gaming computer. I don't know what the hell for. I don't even game. But I got a gaming computer with my credit from Dell. The computer was $5,000. No, I lied. It was $2,000. I had a $3,000 credit limit. When they sent it to me, the keyboard was super sensitive. So whenever I moved the mouse, it would click. Click, 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 click. So no matter how much I moved the mouse, it would click. And it would do stupid things. It wouldn't type. And so I asked them to come fix it and send it back. Well, we can't because you didn't buy the $300. Well, can I buy it now? No, because it defeated the purpose. So you just sent me a $2,000 computer and you're not going to fix it? Hubbyson, the kid's father, is in IT. Asked him to fix it. He was like, T, I can't do it. Like, you got to tell them to send a technician out here. They said, we're not sending one. Long story short, I don't pay for principal. Because it's the principal. Why they send me a broke computer? I would have sent it. I told them I'd send it back. I was like, listen, you can have it. Just take this off my credit. They said no. I said, okay, 7 years. We'll be up in October. Transparency. And if you watch the interview with Angel Rich on The Breakfast Club, that was one of the things she said. She's dubbed the next Bill Gates. She's absolutely amazing. I met her at Women in Media last year when I was pregnant with Prince. And she said, if you have things on your credit that are 4 years old, ride them other 3 years out. If you don't plan on buying a house, it's 4-year-old credit, ride them next 3 years out and let them max out on their own. Don't pay them. But if it's less than 3 years, get your credit right. Call them. You can always pay. You tell them, I'm gonna pay. I only have X amount of dollars. You can pay up to 20% of what you owe. So if you owe $10,000, you're like, listen, I can pay $2,000 today. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna take that $2,000. They're gonna charge the rest off because they were gonna charge off their complete $10,000. So if you're about to give them a couple dollars, they'll take that. So if you do have some things on your credit, if you didn't know, you can go to www.myfreecreditreport.com or freecreditreport.com. It's completely free. You get your credit report once a year for free. That is federal law. Pull your credit report. Now, as far as your FICO score, which is the score, that's completely different than your Credit Karma score or your credit score. I know some people's bank accounts are linked and they're able to check their credit and it's like credit score and you can check it that way, but that is not what your actual score is. For instance, Credit Karma will tell you your credit score is, 566. And when you actually get your credit pulled, they look at the FICO score and it's like 590. So you're necessarily getting the right one. Could your score be higher? Yes, it could than what you are seeing on Credit Karma, but it also could be lower. So just be mindful. And if you pay myfreecreditreport.com, I think it's like $1 to $5, they will give you your correct FICO score. So going back, as far as credit is concerned, we are in the same boat. We are eye level. I am not on a high horse. I am not talking down. We are talking about currency conversations and how these conversations need to be had with our children, with our friends, with our family. And we need to start being open about our finances. Now, you don't have to sit here and tell people your business and how much money you make, but you guys can start sharing best practices. Maybe you share with somebody that, I've had something on my credit for 5 years. Well, baby, ride them other 2 years out. Like, maybe they didn't know about that. Maybe they didn't know it falls off your credit after 7 years. Maybe they have no clue that when you pull credit, you can see that your credit was sold to a creditor. If it says sold to a creditor, you can advocate on yourself and advocate for yourself. And I'm trying to think of the actual legal terminology right now. But you can contact your 3 credit bureaus, and you have no obligation to the creditor that bought your credit. So, for instance, me and Daddy. So, I owe Walmart, and Walmart sold it to my father. Daddy Credit. Daddy Credit now owns my credit that I owe to Walmart. But me and Daddy Credit never had a relationship. I never signed anything with Daddy Credit. And so since they bought the credit from Walmart, Daddy Credit and I have no relationship. I'm not obligated to pay him. The 3 credit bureaus will take that off your credit. But if you don't know, you can't ask. It will remain there until the 7 years fall off. And then even still, it's on your account as an account that was derogatory, when you could have it completely taken off. Wipe out. Another thing about credit that I just want other people to know. It eluded me. So we'll come back to this currency conversation, putting the pieces together. The primary objective is to inspire action and progress towards financial well-being through self-reflection, goal setting, and exploration of basic financial topics. You have probably heard, and many even feel that change is hard, and we believe that together we can commit ourselves to each other to change and become easier and more enjoyable. So is it difficult? Is it hard? Yes, it's absolutely freaking hard. It's hard to start buying that $4 latte. It's difficult to make the decision to shut off the AC. In all of these things, my grandmother has a saying, count your pennies, right? And in that, your penny is leaving the lights on for no reason. The penny is leaving the TV on while you're sleeping. The penny is letting your car run when you're sitting on your phone, scrolling through Instagram for 45 minutes. Those pennies matter. You're quick to pick up a penny off the ground, but you're not looking at the pennies that could be in your pocket. And those are just little things. Those are like shutting off the lights, unplugging your phone. Do you know some people, because your electric bill will change drastically if you take out the cords for your computer and take out the cords for your cell phone and use a power strip for your television? And instead of just shutting off the TV and you have everything else running, you shut off the power strip. You unplug the cord to your laptop, unplug the cord to your phone charger. That's pennies in your pocket. It is difficult. It's difficult when you just want to go outside and have somebody cater to you and make you salmon, when you pay $65 to go outside and eat, when you could have spent $15 on the salmon, $2.99 on some couscous, and $1.99 on some string beans. And you probably could have made it better than the restaurant. It is one of the things that Daddy said is self-sacrifice. And when it comes to your finances, that's something that comes to head too, is self-sacrifice. Are you willing to sacrifice yourself, your wants, your needs of this moment for, later on in life? Are you willing to sacrifice yourself for yourself? So 10 years from now, and there's actually a what's the name in here? So if you spend $1 less every single day, in 1 year, that's $365. Tayla, that's nothing. That's some gas tank. That's some gas money right there. In 5 years, that's $1,826. In 10 years, by saving $1 a day, that's $3,652 in 10 years. Now, let's say, for instance, every day you buy Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks, Mary Lou, Susie Lou, what the girl name? You buy a $4 drink because, maybe it's like $3.89 plus tax, plus you get a Munchkin donut situation, or you get a sandwich. Now it's $9, $10. If you spend $10 less every day, that's $3,650 in a year. After 10 years, that's $36,520. Do you know Warren Buffett? They told Warren Buffett to go out and buy a brand new car. And he was like, no, for what? And they were like, get you a brand new car, Warren. Like, what are you doing with a 98 Maxima? He was like, it gets me to and fro where I need to go. Why do I need to buy a new car? They're like, well, if you buy a new car, he said, listen, if I go modest and get a $30,000 vehicle, I get a $26,000 vehicle. After, it's going to take me, X amount of time to pay it off. It's going to be this much interest. And what I could have used that $26,000 for could make me $1.4 million. I don't have money to waste on buying a new vehicle when I have one that gets me to and fro. But when we take a look in the mirror, we're over here trying to buy the best new thing that's going to depreciate as soon as we drive it off the lot. These are the things that we don't think about. These are the things that we don't take into consideration when we think about our finances. And especially, I remember. Okay, so what I wanted to remind you about credit was a little hack that not a lot of people know is that you can contact your creditors. Like, say, for instance, you can contact Macy's and tell Macy's, listen, I know I made a payment really late. You guys charged me $25. Can you remove that late fee from my account? And 9 times out of 10, they will go back 18 months, up to 18 months, and take off. I've had the most 3. Take off up to 3 different, either I go for finance charges. I don't like to be late because it is horrendous. It does horrendous things to your credit. 1 day late will drop your credit 45 points. And when you're climbing and you're finally at a 705 and you're 1 day late and now you're back to a 662, like it's discouraging. So I don't do the late business. But as far as the finance charges are concerned, you can call them and say, hey, listen, can you take off my finance charge? And not everybody's going to say yes, but some of them do say yes. Maybe you hang up and call somebody else back and say, can you take off my finance charge? Because sometimes it's just the customer service rep. They don't know any better. Sometimes you have to ask for a supervisor, but you can call your creditors from a Macy's to a Capital One to your Victoria's Secret to like whatever store car you have. Call them and find out. And don't ask. Just say, I'm calling to get my late fee removed. Well, who told you that? Well, I was at the store and the lady said I could get a late fee removed. They will only do it once. They will do it every 18 months and they will go back. Correction. They will go back up to 12 months and you can only do it once every 18 months. That's what it is. And so call, get your finance charge taken off, get your late fee taken off. See what you can do as far as renegotiating your interest rate. And you can always renegotiate. 9 times out of 10, your interest rate is based on your credit. And if you've been able to increase your credit and decrease your debt, you will have a lower debt to income ratio. That way you will have a higher credit. You can get a lower interest rate. I'm giving y'all gems. I'm giving you jewels. I hope you're writing it down. If not, TaylaAndre. All of this information is on my page. I try and educate as much as I possibly can. Start where you are. No judgment. No negative talk. just take your time and have a conversation with other Black men and women about ways to align your financial goals with your core values. Connect with the people in your life that inspire you to be your best. They can be your family, your friends, co-workers, sisterpreneurs, as long as they are on their path to financial well-being and are willing to share their journey, provide support and accountability. So again, you start where you are. So when I was having a conversation with my daddy, one of the things I said was like, what would you do, 20 years? What would you say to your 36-year-old self? I would tell myself to invest. I would tell myself to save. I would tell myself to set up a 401k. Well, it's not too late for my daddy to do those very same things if he has not already. And that was a question that I should have asked, is whether or not that's steps that he has currently taken. Because as long as you have breath in your lungs, it's not too late to start anything. As long as you are on God's green earth and you can inhale, exhale, there's nothing that can stop you from doing what it is that you want to do. You may not have as much savings as you would if you started 20 years sooner, but you can at least start somewhere, right? What are your goals? Again, going back to what it is that you would choose, whether it's a vacation, whether it's a house, whether it's college, whether it's a new vehicle, what are you saving for? And have that goal visible. So I personally have 3 vision boards in my home. And I placed this vision board in, and shout out to Faith Naturals, because I picked this bit of knowledge up from her, where she says, share your vision with the household. So I used to have my vision board like in my room personally for me, but when you have your vision board and you explain to your children, you explain to your husband or your wife why these things are on your vision board, again, going back to Uncle Georgie and literally seeing him rise from the dead into life, just called me Nazareth. And knowing how important words are, if it's not just me looking at the vision board and envisioning, what's on there, but it's also the children envisioning themselves in my vision board, as well as me envisioning myself in their vision board. It's like we are collectively focusing our energy on the same thing and helps that wheel turn faster. So what is your goal? Share that goal with your significant other. Share that goal with your friends that are supportive of you, because you do have that one friend that no matter what it is that you try and accomplish, you're not good enough. It will never happen. You waited too late in life. You're not pretty enough. You don't have enough money to, they'll find any and every excuse to tell you why you can't do something. So don't share your goals with everyone. What the Bible say? Don't share your pearls with swine. Don't cast your pearls to swine. There's friends that you can share with. There's family you can share with. And then there's friends and family that you shouldn't even be talking to. So choose wisely. Have a goal. Talk to the friends and family that support that goal. And if you want, you can actually share your goals with me, and I'll share my goals with you. TaylaAndre. That's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And I said it before, I will say it again. Twitter is the customer service of the future. If you have any issue, any problem, and you've been trying to get in contact with a company and they refuse to call you back or reach you back or answer you back, sign online to Twitter, get you a Twitter account, and tweet them. And you will have the best customer service experience thereafter. We are coming to the top of the hour. I thank you guys so much. Happy Father's Day to all of the dads. Happy Father's Day to all of the uncles that are stand-in dads. Happy Father's Day to the stepdads that aren't but stepped up. Happy Father's Day. I want to say Happy Father's Day to Anari, because Anari act like Rain is his son. Anari act like that's his child. No, but in all seriousness, Happy Father's Day to those that make a significant difference. And it's not about just being a father, but being a male model in a child's life. And sometimes a lot of men I'm going to be transparent, and some women may not like this, but there are a lot of men that are stepping up and being fathers to women. To women that didn't have a daddy in their life. And so this man is raising this grown woman like it's his child. So shout out to you, Zaddy. I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. If you missed any of today's program and you want to go back and listen to some more, feel free to find me. Again, any and all forms of social media. What is it? TaylaAndre. I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Mwah. Mwah. I love you guys so much.